for fast, cheap, and reliable Madden 21 Ultimate Team coins. Make sure you guys go check out my sponsor, Easy Mutt. Use code VENOM at checkout for 5% off. Yo, what's up guys, Venomfire here, back with another video, and today I'm bringing you guys another offensive formation scheme. This one's going to be out of the gun trio offset, a very unique formation, but I think it can be very good if used the correct way. If you're wondering why we're back to the practice mode videos, that's just because I have more free time during the weekend, so obviously I'm going to be able to get out these longer type videos during the weekend. Expect maybe some during the week. I'll try and get out as many as I can, but until then, we'll just stay rocking with these practice mode videos. Also, before you end the video, make sure you guys do go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to 15, and if we've already hit it, 16,000 subscribers. So if you're new, hit that sub button. But yeah, so the formation we're running is going to be gun trio offset, very unique. It's similar to trips tight end, but there's one extra feature that makes it really, really good. Now, the playbook we're in is going to be spread. It's also in the Falcons playbook and the Eagles. So it's only in 3 playbooks, very unique offensive formation. But yeah, trio offset. Now, really the key to this, the trick to this, is going to be your formation packages. At the bottom left of that play call screen, you see the packages. Pretty much what you do is you just flick it to the left twice, and then you're in the 4 wide receiver package. This works actually for this trio offset week also. I just like the trio offset better, but you can actually go to this 4 receiver package, and it puts your 4th wide receiver. So your receiver that's at number 4 spot in your depth chart, which I made Tyreek Hill, you can actually get at this tight end slot. Now you see I can also put a tackle there, which is pretty cool. I can actually also put a linebacker. But yeah, overall it is a very cool thing to do. Not many formations you can do this, and especially with a guy like Tyreek Hill, it can be dangerous. I'll go into it a little bit more why it's so good when we hop into the gameplay, but here's a look at our audibles. You got flanker dig, you're going to have RP alert, bubble, levels, sail, and then PA post shot. The other play I'm going to go over is also going to be flood at the bottom. So with that being said, let's just go ahead, jump straight into it. Now, I'm also not going to be using really any abilities, any special abilities. If you could get one, I would recommend Hot Route Master. You can definitely get glitchy with some of these hot routes and plays. But again, especially with like a Tyreek Hill, because you're not going to be able to use any route abilities for him on his own. When you put him at the tight end slot, receivers can't get tight end apprentice. But if you have Hot Route Master, he can still get hot routed from here. So you can get some glitchy with that. Basically, I'm going to talk about the reason that having a receiver here is so dangerous. So the tight end spot, at the tight end position, you cannot get pressed. So if you're struggling with man coverage, I know some of you guys are, this is really good because if you get a tight end here, if he's on like a crosser, he can't get pressed. And not only that, but sometimes in man coverage, he's going to be manned up on that sub linebacker. So if I go to a 2-man under, he's going to be manned up on this player right here. Now I didn't sub in safeties, but that is typically the guy. Even if it is a safety, it's going to be a lot worse than maybe their number 1 cornerback. And obviously he's not pressed. Any kind of speed advantage, you can take pretty simple advantage of that. So that's basically the reason it's so glitchy. Let's hop into these plays though. So I'm going to start out with this flanker dig play. Pretty good play. Just taking a look at our player. We have a couple of nice, unique routes. Starting out with Clyde Edwards-Hilaire's route. He's on this kind of short wheel route. That's pretty good against zone coverage, similar to mesh post, that type of one. Now, the setup I like to run out of this is just going to be simply X on a curl. And then what I'm going to do is just put Y on a flat. So here's a look at what I'm doing. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to motion Demarcus Robinson over. Now, in order to get that wheel route open, I have to put a flat or an out route on the outside. So I do that. And then boom, I can lowball that pass to Clyde Edwards-Hilaire. Tyreek Hill is a pretty good clear out in stock man-to-man coverage. His little fade route, or seam route rather, can get open just against stock man-to-man coverage. It's also decent against cover 2. You kind of have to spread out that free safety there. So it can work, just depends on the type of coverage that your opponent's running. But again, that setup was just X on a curl and Y on a flat. You can get it off pretty quick. It's only 2 hot routes. Again, just motion Demarcus Robinson over. Say that he uses that other side, I can just wait, and then I can lowball it to X. I could have thrown it to the zig also. If I'm not super comfortable with the zig to curl combo, because it can be awkward for some people, I can just go with a classic curl flat combo, where I would just put X on, or B on a flat, and then this would be probably a little bit more clean. But again, solid setup, just taking advantage of some of the routes that we do have. And again, just really using the routes that I like to have. Just take one good stock route and kind of build your offense around it. So flanker dig, as far as some other setups, you would probably need like a hot route master type of a thing. Something that, maybe an idea that I had was kind of to do something like this where I could go drag with the wheel route, and then over here I would go flat and slant. So I would go with Sammy Watkins on the slant, DeMarcus Robinson on the flat, and then I would have a slant. I have this kind of wheel route to drag combo that's not terrible, but just some ideas for you. And you can also hit Tyreek Hill if it is a cover 2. So if I'm going with like a cover 2, let's audible to that. One of the ways I take advantage of that is just to put like B on a curl. I would put, B on a curl, Y on a flat, and then with X I would put them on like an in route. So here's a look at the setup you could go with. Now I'm not a big fan of having those little curl routes in the middle, but this is something you could do. And if it was cover 2, boom, you could hit Tyreek Hill in the middle of the field. Bad pass lead by me, but you saw he was open. I meant to pass that outside. But yeah, with that being said, let's move into our next play. I'm actually going to go into the run RPO alert bubble. Now, there is some other good runs. There's a read option. There's a power O. There is a stock inside zone, draw, all that stuff. I like the alert bubble the best. Gives you a threat to throw the ball, which if completed, you can pick up 10 yards right here. Really, it's just going to take that slot player out of the play. He's not going to be able to get a block shed for most of the time. And if he does attack the ball carrier, then you can obviously throw the RPO. But yeah, so pretty good run. I mean, there's nothing too much to it. You can test all the runs out in the formation, see which one you like the best, and go with that one. Again, this is my favorite. You could also kind of mix in some motion like this, and you can actually turn that blocker into a hitch route. So for man coverage, that's something I can do, but you see the run gets pretty good blocks. It's a pretty solid inside zone, and I do recommend it a good amount. Not going to spend too much time on this because it is more of a passing scheme, but that is an option. Now let's just move into this flood play. I really only have one setup for flood. I kind of have two, but our first setup is just going to be B on an out route. We're going to smart route B. So it's going to like this. I'm going to put our B on a wheel, and then I'm going to drag our tight end or our receiver, Tyreek Hill. So what I'm going to do is just motion McColl from left to right and just wait for him to get kind of on the sideline, snap the ball. It gives me an option for an early read and Clyde. It gives me kind of two high-low reads, similar to a bunch setup, or a flood setup out of bunch rather. That's the reason that I like it. Again, B on an out route, smart route B, drag A, and wheel RB, just like so. Again, I could either throw B or RB kind of early. I could wait. I could check down to A. Now that throw is a little bit difficult on the wide side of the field. So you really want to see if he's adjusting his zone drops, but I could also throw that drag a little bit earlier. Now, the reason I'm not too big on that drag to out route combo is because of how deep the out route is. So my fix to that would be just to run it the same way, but I would actually be motioning DeMarcus over. This makes it also look like I'm running flanker dig because it's the same type of a motion. Again, you just wait for him to get to the outside, but here when I roll out, it sometimes is a little bit better. Now B got pressed there, so it wasn't as clean. But typically it would be better. Now, his out route is also shorter, so that's a reason. Because DeMarcus is kind of a step further than both of these guys. So when I put B on the out route, it's not perfect. But I could also just run this relatively stock if I wanted to. Just put A on like an in route, or I could leave A on his option route. Something like this can still have success. You just step up. I can throw it to B as I get lurched pretty well there. But yeah, that would be an option that you can do. I'll just throw it one more time because I have thrown picks on this. I don't know what's wrong with me right now, but let's actually just run it stock, and you'll see that it is a decent play. I'm going to actually wait to throw it to B here, and then boom, you see Y gets over the top. That's what I should have been doing, but that is the way to run flood. Now, let's hop into our other plays, which are going to be level sail and PA post shot. Again, with flood, it's a good play. I don't run it a whole lot. That's why it's not in my audibles, but I just wanted to show it. That's why I'm not super good at running it. I have kind of just started running this trio offset for a couple of games. So again, I haven't mastered anything, but yeah, so level sail. The reason that this play is good, you obviously have a stock table route, but not only that, you have a smart routed corner route. You have one of these short corner routes, and again, these routes can't get pressed. So if I just run stock, 2-man under, obviously sometimes a cornerback will be manned up, but if it is a linebacker, you see, boom, he's just going to cut up the field and get wide open. Again, the way you do that is just by smart routing that a wide receiver or tight end. Again, my favorite setup for this is just going to be, you can actually run it stock. So I'm basically running it stock. All I'm doing is I'm smart routing A, and then I'm just going to streak that insider slot receiver. This is pretty good against man. It also works against zone. So if it is zone, I could easily just check down, and that corner out's really good from the tight end spot because it just opens up that table route a lot. Similar to curl flat out of stock trips tight end. Again, just smart out A, streak B for our first setup. If they do go with 2-man under, Y or X should get separation. You see X open, Y open as well. If I don't like those two in routes kind of stacking onto each other, I could also just drag X, something like this. So, and again, smart out A, boom, cover 3, and you see how you could throw these routes. I accidentally clicked the wrong button there, but that's an option. Now, another setup I like to go to is similar to a curl flat setup I run out of trips head end. I'm just going to block my running back here, though. I'm going to smart out A, and then I'm just going to drag B, flat Y, and curl X, something like this. Pretty simple setup, but again, some of these simple setups are usually actually better. A lot of times you overthink it. If you think you're going against a really good player, you're going to start doing uncharacteristic hot routes, some stuff you've never ran before. And sometimes just like basic route combos like this, where a curl route, it's going to beat man coverage, I know that. Curl flat combo is usually pretty successful against zone coverage as well. So if it's something like cover 3, I can step up, throw it to the flats, or I could throw it to the drag. If it's a little bit of an underneath coverage, let's say it's cover 2, shaded underneath, then I can go ahead, hit Tyreek, or I hit my curl route. So it just gives you some options. Again, we'll snap the ball here, boom. You see I'm going to step up. There we go, got the curl route. So just gives you options. Again, use that tight end route. But let's hop into our last and final play of the offense. As I accidentally snapped the ball here, so we're just going to take off. But the last play is going to be PA post shot. Pretty solid play. Now it could be a little bit better, similar to PA crossers, but we're just going to kind of build around this crosser. Now it's not super good. Again, it's not super deep, but it is pretty deep and it's usable to build a play around. So what I'm going to do is I could actually run this stock. I'll show a relatively stock setup. I'm going to put A on a delay fade, flat Y, and slant X. I'm going to motion Sammy Watkins over, and I'm actually going to keep the play action. This is pretty similar to a PA post shot or a PA boot over, because I can actually roll out and then I can release A and throw it to him. So having Tyreek Hill at tight end for delay fades is also something that's going to be really good. I'm going to actually audible to man coverage to run that, because you can kind of glitch out those players. But again, the setup, flat Y, slant X, delay fade A. You can block the running back if you want to. Again, it doesn't make too big of a difference, but sometimes those play actions just allow you to get outside a little bit better. Certain formations it works better. Again, I don't know if you can get the glitch to work super well out of like a trio offset than bunch tight end. That's usually what makes bunch tight end great, but I have got it to work a couple of times, I think. Again, the delay fade does work against zone as well. But let's go ahead and move into some other setups. The other alternate setup you could do is to just put on a regular streak and run the setup basically the same way here. We'll go with the cover 2. We have crosser, you have your little clear out here. Then you have some other options. If it is cover 2, boom, I can hit Tyreek in the middle of the field using his speed to attack vertically. If he's not going to put a mid or a middle third on his field, that's something you could easily do. If he is, then you can obviously take advantage of the slant or whatever. Again, I'm going to try and hit the crosser here. Sometimes the reason I like this little play action is it allows me to kind of slide over to the right side, which means the crosser is going to be a little bit easier for me to throw. But yeah, let's hop into another setup for this. You could do is like a little drag with A, curl route X, and then with Y, you could do a couple of things. I could either like option RB and streak Y, and then I would motion to Marcus over, so this would be an option. Or I could do always out RB, something like this. Again, it just kind of depends on what you're doing, but there's really a lot you could do even without abilities. So again, I'll show that setup. It was RB on either an out route or an option. Now the option's just going to kind of sit in the middle of the field, which you could use. Again, it just kind of depends on what you like, what you don't like, but you're going to drag A, curl X, streak Y. You usually want to snap him around in the slot, but you see how Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going to pull down some of those zones, and A was open, but I rolled out to the wrong side. But yeah, it just gives you some options. I like the out route better. That's usually what I do. But yeah, also, if you're going with that type of a route combo, I could always just curl Y here. It doesn't really matter too much. I could like wheel RB, just mix it up a little bit. As far as what you're doing, I could always like just completely go crazy. Something like this could work. You never know. just like some weird route combos. You see you step up. But yeah, usually you don't want to have a wheel route and crosser going to the same side. That was just kind of completely off topic. But yeah, one more time with these setups, basically what I was trying to say is that you could just kind of flip these routes. So I put X on the streak, Y on the curl, A on the drag, RB on the out route, just like this. Motion Sammy over and then snap the ball. So again, it can get a lot better once you have, as we're just getting shedded to death, it can get a lot better if you have abilities. If I can put my tight end on a post route, my running back on an angle route, whatever. But this is just a stock way to run it. Again, if you want me to do a hot route master version where maybe I go into an online game, let me know. But yeah, it's going to do it for the video. If you enjoyed, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and peace. I'm out of here.